It is Saturday night. I'm in my Saturday night shirt. We just watched Saturday Night Dynamite. Alfred Konuwa, Issa NYC Demon Diva here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast after Dynamite. A lively show. Love the energy of the show from Miami, Florida, just a day after the big Friday Night Wars. Issa, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Happy Saturday. I've been drinking. Look at my cup. I'm trying to be on theme. So I have an everyday's Halloween cup for Halloween Kills weekend. Yeah, it's been a fun night. I've been drinking since 6:30. So
hell yeah. That must have made the show much fun.
Yeah. I don't remember half of it, but we'll talk about it. No, I'm kidding.
What are we drinking tonight? What's the poison of choice tonight?
Tonight I'm drinking is pineapple juice with some Bacardi rum, but it's like a mango fusion Bacardi. So it tastes very sweet. It's a nice, sweet, easygoing Saturday drink. Like
very
the show.
Tropical.
I mean, I'm Puerto Rican. What do you expect?
Yeah, no, I like that. I was from Miami, and I like it.
Yeah.
Well, we will get into, of course, the review of the show. We're going to start with just a couple of news stories, and one of them is really kind of a breaking news story in terms of the bracket that has been revealed for the AEW World Title Eliminator. Does everybody see this? I've just shared it, and I hope everybody can see it. It's up here right now.
See it. Yeah, you just gotta. Can you move it up a little?
Let's see, up a little.
There we go. Because I couldn't see the bottom. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so, well, essentially, if you can see it, I'm going to just read down what is the lineup. We're going to get Dark Order's 10 against Jon Moxley.
He's going to die.
He's going to die. Orange Cassidy gets Powerhouse Hobbs. Wonder who's going to win that one. Dustin Rhodes will go one-on-one with Bryan Danielson. Who you got in that one?
Wait, let me think about it. Yeah, Bryan.
Bryan Danielson. And, of course, Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston, which is the only one I think could go either way. I don't know. We could see more upsets in this tournament. You don't necessarily have to be predictable, but I think Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston seems like the one that might be up in the air.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of very good wrestling, but I agree with you. I feel like Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston is the one that I couldn't tell you exactly who I think is going to win. Like every other one, I know exactly who's moving on. It's the round after that that's going to be kind of interesting, you know? But yeah, Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston could go either way. I really, really do think that Eddie Kingston does need a couple of big wins.
Yeah, we could get Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston, which should be a fun match because that I think is kind of the ultimate WWE guy versus somebody who the AEW fan just absolutely adore. And I think we're going to get either a split to a pro Eddie reaction in that match.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that should be a lot of fun. And it's the one thing that I'm like loving about Bryan Danielson in AEW is just seeing him in all of these matches that we just never thought we would get. And Eddie Kingston and Bryan will be one of them 100%.
Now, who do you have winning the whole thing in terms of this tournament?
Bryan
Danielson. Yeah, I could see it. I wonder if that, because they did leak that would be Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley at Full Gear. And
so that's gonna be the final round, definitely, and something's gonna go eerie there, right? I mean, when we get into the review of the show, we'll get more into it. But I did think that they're teasing a Mox heel turn, and then that will perfectly make sense because you have Bryan being a babyface and should Hangman beat Omega, another babyface, you're going to need to build up a couple of heel contenders for that AEW World Title.
Yeah, they've been teasing the Mox heel turn, it seems like, for a while. He cut a really good backstage promo that I think a lot of people forgot about a couple of months ago, where he was kind of running down all the baby faces, including Hangman and Page. And I thought, okay, here we go. And then he just kind of got away from that. And then after his match against Wheeler Yuta, they had a moment where Orange Cassidy gave him this look when he stormed off. And I felt like that was more of them teasing. And Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley look like they're going to meet in that second round.
Yeah, and I remember, I don't know if this is the same promo or not, but he cut a promo in regards to people coming over from WWE now, even though he's been here and kind of built it. So, I mean, this Bryan and Mox, I know we saw them interact a lot in WWE, but I was never a fan of Dean Ambrose. Jon Moxley, I'm all in. So I cannot wait to see Jon Moxley battle Bryan, because that's going to be insane.
I'm the same way. I couldn't care less about Dean Ambrose. I love John Moxley, this character. I actually like him better in Japan, how he is in Japan. I think it's a little bit more intensity and how he works, especially when he was in the actual full gear. But I just like how he works in Japan and maybe just who he works with. Maybe he just seems like a really good fit there. But I do like John Moxley.
Some of the promos he was cutting in Japan were freaking hilarious. And he made me actually watch some New Japan, which I don't watch. But I agree. I think Dean Ambrose felt very WWE forced, and Moxley feels like this is who this guy actually is. And that was always my issue. I liked him in the Shield, don't get me wrong, but I always felt like he just felt like this is not who he is. Where with Moxley, they're just letting him be himself, and that's the best Mox.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that's going to be a fun tournament. A lot of fun was had last night as well, as AEW Rampage went head-to-head with Friday Night SmackDown in the first 30 minutes of AEW Rampage. Now, we don't have detailed numbers. We don't have demos yet. We do have the overnights from the Fast Nationals, ladies and gentlemen.
Did the streets come through with the numbers?
The streets came through with the numbers. I have it up at This Is Nasty. Glenn Rubenstein's got some numbers from the streets. At Glenn Rubenstein's, our own Glenn Rubenstein.
Wow, nobody texted me the numbers, by the way.
Oh, wow. We got to get Issa. Streets, come on. Get Issa involved. She's certified. So the numbers that came in, I'm sure people have seen it by now. Friday Night SmackDown on FS1, 793,000. AEW Rampage, 549,000 per the overnights. Your reaction, Issa?
A little low for both, based on what I expected. I thought 100% WWE was gonna be AEW, but I it's low on both ends. What was the Rampage number the week before? Was it 530?
502,000. And the overnights the week before was 466,000, and then it went up to 502. So both numbers figured to go up. And the streets also told me that the SmackDown numbers from My Network TV in Chicago are not figured in, so it could be as much as 140,000 boost, according to the streets. Well, so I think both numbers are going to go up.
In Chicago and New York, I don't know how that comes into the numbers, but in Chicago and New York, they played them in a local network. Like here, right. SmackDown played in a local network, so there's more eyes in the product. So I mean, we'll see, but this is obviously not the final number, but it's not too far off of how it's going to go. I would assume on Monday we're going to find out that SmackDown beat them. It was just by, a couple of 60,000 more than what we saw here from the streets.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for the streets coming through on that one. But yeah, Dynamite or AEW Rampage and SmackDown going head to head. And it looks like, and just looking ahead here, the next time that SmackDown might be preempted is Game 3 of the World Series. I believe it's October 29th. And I don't know the time. They haven't released the time for that game. But if it does get preempted, I feel like they're going to do this again, possibly for the full hour, just depending on just how much because I do think that this is enough of a margin of victory, 31%. Again, we don't know the demo. So if the demo is close and that comes back, maybe that'll give WWE pause. But if they do kind of hold this big margin of victory, I do think they're going to be empowered to go right after SmackDown or right after Rampage when the next time they're preempted.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see, right? It's going to be interesting. I'm actually very interested to see what the bump is on the AEW side, because we already are seeing a bump just from last week's number, because without them having Dynamite, I was afraid that they were going to suffer, but it sounds like Tony Khan's PR tour paid off for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good number. 549 really isn't a good number, but I do expect it to be higher than that. They really need to get out of that 500,000 threshold, which seems where they kind of have fallen. But if they do go up, which I do expect this number to go up, it's certainly an upgrade over the 500,000 they did last week. And I think it's less cause for panic.
Yeah. Agreed.
So those are your numbers there. And we get into AEW Dynamite. We start this show off hot with Malachi Black versus Dante Martin. Of course, CM Punk is on commentary, so he does this victory tour, and they immediately cut it off with the lights, that amazing entrance from Malachi Black, and he had what I thought was an amazing match against Dante Martin. This was phenomenal. The story of this match was Dante Martin selling his knee, so he was doing all kinds of things to sell the knee, where he'd do a Hurricane Rana, and because he landed on his knee selling it, he sold the finish came, and this is the best part of him selling, is when he did a springboard, and he did it on one leg to put over how bad his knee is.
What?
Get kicked in the face. And I
Yeah.
thought it was incredible. And what I loved about this was the commentary was in sync with the selling in this match, because it was Tony Schiavone getting frustrated with Dante Martin going to the top, but JR coming in and playing devil's advocate and saying he's going to win it his way. And also Malachi Black did a phenomenal job selling his ribs, where he had a Boston Crab and couldn't hold on to it because, you know, when your ribs and you're putting that much pressure on it, it was a great way of selling it, to where you had to let go. And I just thought these two worked very well together. After the match, Malachi Black gave Dante Martin a little bit of a nod to kind of put him over in defeat, hopefully. What did you think about this match, Issa?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. Like the way that these two told the story, it was like in-ring storytelling at its finest. The selling was incredible. You talked about Malachi Black entrance. I'm glad that they're giving the cities, you know, CM Punk entrance for the people that haven't seen him in so long. I think I respect that move because he does sell tickets, right? So people want to see that entrance. But it took me back to last week's episode where people didn't get an entrance, and I'm like, okay, so you didn't give an entrance to people that were wrestling, but you give CM Punk on commentary an entrance. I get why they do it, but you could have done that before the show went on the air. Maybe add time to something else, right? Okay, great. Anyways, just putting that out there because it just seems weird that sometimes they cut other people's entrances, but that doesn't get cut. I thought this match was a lot of fun. It might be my favorite Malachi Black match in AEW as of right now. It was so good, and I didn't expect them to have this kind of chemistry. And I love the nod that he gave him at the end, because I was not invested into his character before, and now after seeing him wrestle Malachi Black the way that they did, the way he sold that leg the entire time, I was like, I really like this guy. I didn't even think I liked him before. I'm like, why is he getting this match? You know, but I was very, very impressed, and I wish they would have wrestled longer. I thought they did an amazing job and opened the show. The crowd, like, they got the crowd hot right off the start, and the crowd was great tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, Dante has all the talent. They just don't do anything in terms of presenting him as somebody who you should care about. And I think this was a step forward in that direction. I think it's good that they've put him with Lio Rush, which later on in the night.
I agree. I thought that Dante and Lio Rush make an excellent team.
Absolutely, later, and that's what they're going to be, because later on they had a backstage promo, and Leo said that him and Dante Martin are going to now be a tag team. There was some tension to where Lio Rush was playing up being a heel and kind of demanding that him and Dante Martin be a tag team. And I'm really looking forward to when Darius gets back for Top Flight and Leo to be together as a trios. I think that's going to just be incredible. But it looks like they're kind of going in the direction that when Darius gets back, there's going to be tension between him and Lio Rush, and they're going to kind of split their way. But I'm looking forward to Lio Rush and Dante Martin. And by the way, you can find the Lio Rush interview on Pro Wrestling Bits. Just dropped today. A very, very funny.
Saw it. And you did an amazing job on that one.
Great job by Leo, too. Wants to be the first Black World AEW champion. I hope he gets there. We'll see about that. Anything is possible, ladies.
Anything.
We go backstage to what I thought was a terrible Jungle Boy promo. He is uncomfortable. It reminded me of like those Jumpin' Jeff Farmer promos that, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was, I'm going to wrestle you and Christian's not here, but it was horrible. Like watching Hannah Gatsby do stand-up, just terrible. And just as I was starting to fall asleep, here comes Kenny Omega. Bro. And he even makes a line. He's like, how desperate does this show have to be to give you guys promo time?
I know.
I thought it was very funny.
I was like, Kenny, that's a little too real, buddy. Like
I thought that popped me really hard. That was very funny. But unfortunately, here comes the Elite, and they attack the Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, put Luchasaurus through a table. And it looks like, we
Shield style. Did you notice that? Shield style. Oh my God, I caught that, and I'm like, listen, these wars are crazy right now, and I love it. I sing all the trash talking, and that's kind of, we talked about it a lot last night. That's how I want to see the trash talking between the talent, between the people, not the fans. There was a couple, I think Junior Dos Santos sent out a tweet to Roman Reigns, and I'm like, yo. And then they did that Shield thing, and I'm like, come on, this is not gonna stop anytime soon. This is getting fun. Yeah, I have to say, not Jungle Boy's best work on the mic tonight there backstage, and he was very much saved by the attack from the Elite. Kenny Omega's comment, I'm sorry, I'm so glad you brought it on, because I think I laughed for longer than I should have. I'm like, that it was too real. But yeah, I'm here for that. I know that they're going, I mean, according to the streets and the leaked card, they're going in that direction, but I just feel like they've been feuding with each other for quite a bit, so they need to keep adding layers to it to keep it interesting. But yeah, I pop for the attack. I'm a fan of the Elite. I really like them.
Me too. Yeah, they were a lot of fun together. Namely, the Super Click. I think the Young Bucks and Adam Cole are just, I mean, they're obviously great friends and they're a lot of fun in there. But yeah, we saw a couple of Shield bombs today coming off of what Roman Reigns said about AEW. No comments about Top Dollar, though. They had nothing to say about him. I don't think they want that smoke.
The Elite fears Top Dollar. Confirmed.
Yes, I would rather watch a 10-minute Top Dollar freestyle than a Jungle Boy promo, by the way. And in fact, I would rather.
I'm drinking. Can you not say that kind of stuff while I have a drink in my mouth?
Okay, hopefully you don't now, because I would rather watch a Rock freestyle than a Jungle Boy promo. I said it on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I would rather see the Rock freestyle, but Jumpin' Jack Perry would come back later tonight. Good on him. So we get into an Inner Circle versus America's Top Team promo exchange. So this was a kind of lively promo. They go back and forth. Chris Jericho has some comments for Paige Van Zandt, very reminiscent of his interplay with Stephanie McMahon in A New Generation, of course. I'm very interested to see how people take this, where he singled her out and he said that, are you trying to slide in my DMs? What kind of Instagram filter do you use?
That line.
Clarendon or bitch?
Bimbo. It said bimbo too.
He said bimbo too.
Yes. Not that I memorized the line already to use it on people, but my God, that was some good stuff.
Yeah, he really went after it. It was a lot of fun, like Attitude Era Jericho.
Yeah.
Dan Lambert is just the biggest heel in AEW. Anytime he talks, these fans are just all over him. He's calling Sammy Guevara Tiny Tim, which that was a funny line. But I will say, as soon as this promo started, it was funny because they sang along to the Jericho music, and then the first thing they did was chant for Sammy. Because so this guy's really becoming, and they're in Miami, and it's a very Latino presence. You heard the C chants instead of the yes chants. So this was great to see Sammy Guevara really becoming a big star. And really, this promo ended up being circled around Sammy Guevara because he called out America's Top Team and said that, you know, he'll see them next week. He's calling anybody out from America's Top Team or the Men of the Year to challenge him. What did you think about this segment, Issa?
You also forgot to mention the line that Dan Lambert used on Jack Hager about his hair. I thought this was fun. I actually like this interaction. It's probably one of my favorite interactions between the two teams so far. Maybe the crowd and the energy, like, you know, limned up, or maybe we're seeing finally the whole Inner Circle together, because it feels like we've been seeing them kind of like split apart, which is good because we were getting a lot of Inner Circle prior to that, but we haven't seen them together interacting in a while, and you know, they're a crowd favorite. Yeah, this was fun. I think they're gonna, I mean, this is obviously going to continue, right? But I wonder if they're gonna film anything on the Jericho Cruise, because I think that's next week.
Oh, yes, so, they are going head-to-head with, I mean, not head-to-head, but they're happening at the same time as Dynamite, I believe.
Yeah, because they couldn't, I know some of the wrestlers are going, but not all of them can go because they're, you know, they have the show. But I wonder if they're, like, I think that would be a lot of fun. This whole time, while the promo was going on, I was just thinking it would be a lot of fun if they filmed something on the cruise. Like, imagine that backstage, like, video package of them in the cruise and these guys like attacking them. That would be fun. So that's all I could think about. I was like, they need to film something on the cruise. They have to.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be a lot of fun. They should definitely get footage from that cruise, because I absolutely love that show they did from the cruise. It was one of the early Dynamite shows. Really, Britt Baker's coming out party, where that was the first time she cut that promo against Tony Schiavone and got a big reaction. And from there, we see what she's grown into today. And there was a lot of good stuff from that crowd.
That was
the
awesome.
First time people sang along with Chris Jericho.
I was just gonna say that. That was the Judas coming out party too. That's when the whole crowd started singing the song too. It was such a different looking show, and that's like when AEW does that, I really, really like give them major props. Like Arthur Ashe, for example, just coming from different settings and doing different things. That show felt different. I know they're not gonna air a show from the cruise, but it will be nice to get a couple of backstage segments filmed while they're out there.
That's a great point. I love the pageantry of you get to see. I love seeing wrestling in different places. That's why I'm excited about that idea of Raw on the Roof. I just like seeing different settings for different wrestling shows. Kind of like when they had Lex Luger slam Yokozuna on that boat. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, yes.
So shout out to them. Shout out to Stellar Justin Lopez for $4.99. Front of the show. You would think with his father, he'd have more confidence in himself. His acting ability would be better. Without his gimmick, he's bland as AF. I tend to agree with that. He's talking about Jungle Boy, of course.
I know who he's talking about. I know.
Talented wrestler. But boy, that was a rough promo.
Yo, the other day, I don't know. I think I was watching my friends over of Lucha Libre online. They cover wrestling in Spanish, right? And they were having like a debate, like a back and forth. And this guy freaking says that Jungle Boy is not the future of AEW unless he turns into Tarzan, and I die laughing.
That's hilarious.
I was like,
can you translate that to that in Spanish? How was that in Spanish?
Oh, he said, Jungle Boy no va a ser el futuro a menos que no se convierta en Tarzán. It was so funny. Like, I was like, because I didn't want to laugh. I love Jungle Boy, but I tend to agree when you put him in the mic without without the pageantry behind him of Luchasaurus and Christian Cage and this and that. It's not the same. And that's okay. He's still very young. He's like, he's homegrown. There's a lot to learn, but sometimes his weaknesses show. And I want AW to start playing on the strength of some of their guys instead of their weaknesses. You know what Jungle Boy's strength is? Coming out to that crowd. That's his strength. He has to. So don't put him backstage, have him come out and like they did it later on, and that worked. He came back out later on, popped the crowd, got an attack. Kind of like made up for that horrible backstage segment. But if he's not ready to talk, don't let him talk. And he has been very open about being very anxious. I don't know if you've seen some of the interviews that he did. I think it was on Restricted that he talks about he gets really bad anxiety. So I would assume that maybe he feels the same way when he's doing a backstage promo.
Yeah, and this is what Tony Khan and AEW do very well in terms of presentation, in terms of packaging somebody as a star despite their weaknesses. We usually don't see Jungle Boy promos, but he has that great theme music. Right. They do a good job with the Jurassic Express. And so, again, anybody, regardless of their weaknesses or if they're quote-unquote green or if they're weak in this area or that, AEW and professional wrestling proper can hide your weaknesses and show your strength. But this is definitely a weakness of Jungle Boy.
Yep.
Here comes Nightmare and Need for $5. Forgot about Dynamite, but I saw you guys. LOL. Well, welcome, Nightmare and Need. Glad we'll catch you up on it. I will be watching the playback. Is it me or does it seem like Bryan Danielson found new life? Oh, yeah.
1,000%. He's Illuminati confirmed.
Do we have that? Is that a breaking news story? My goodness. I love that.
Sorry.
Illuminati confirmed Bryan Danielson.
Illuminati confirmed.
Unsee that. So yeah.
Sometimes I just say the first thing that comes to my mind. I need to get better at that.
No. You keep doing that. That's what makes you Issa. But yeah, I think Bryan Danielson, it's not like he was necessarily bad in WWE or even in his final days, but he was definitely wrapping up. You knew he wasn't going to be a world champion anytime soon there, but here in AEW, he definitely re-energized by the idea of wrestling new people. You know how much he likes wrestling, and he's been able to do a lot of that. And I do think that they're doing a good job with this Bryan Danielson character.
Agreed, and there's nothing left for him to do. What was there left for him to do in WWE? Maybe win a Royal Rumble. That's about it. He accomplished everything else, so why not move on? Like, he's being very open about not leaving because he was unhappy. But this, Bryan Danielson, I'm here for it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Especially the white tee and his new music. He's a whole new
that
man.
That music is the shit.
Love this from F50 because we're going to get into this match just now. Solid show tonight, but CM Punk deadpan revealing FTR had me in tears. Even though it was short, Miro's promo tonight was a highlight for me. I agree with everything.
I agree with everything. CM Punk on commentary tonight had me dying. He has so many one-liners that were just so solid. A lot of very inner inside jokes that only a few people will get, and you had to pay close attention to what he was saying. He was on point tonight.
I thought CM Punk was phenomenal. I'm glad you said that, Issa, because I want to ask you. I thought about this multiple times. What do you think has been better for CM Punk and AEW? His commentary or his matches?
His commentary.
I'm telling you, he hasn't gotten off the ground yet. I'm sure his matches will eventually rise to that level, but he's been excellent on commentary.
He has. But I mean, it's just the way that I feel like CM Punk is like the Rock of AEW, right? Somebody that can walk around doing whatever or saying whatever he wants. So you want to hear him on the mic because he has no filter. He says some things tonight that I was like, yo.
Yeah, there was actually a line that Chris Jericho said where he said to Paige Van Zandt, "I wouldn't touch you with your husband's genitalia," and then CM Punk chimed in and he was like, "Well, actually, I think he kind of would."
I know.
Little heat there between Chris Jericho and CM Punk. They're not big fans of each other, but they're very cordial.
Yes.
Jody Shauna Jenkins for $5. I think BD's new gimmick should be Brian the Draw Danielson, and he never wins or loses again. Draw after draw after draw. Pure Heat Machine.
Oh
That'd be a fun heel gimmick.
Imagine the draw.
The draw, where it's just a draw every match. Every match is going 15 minutes. So that might back him into a corner where people would go get popcorn. Like, well, this thing's going to go.
We know what's going to happen, right? Or they just lower the limit. They'll be like, it's Daniel Bryan, so 5-minute time limit.
It shouldn't be Bryan Danielson doing that, but I do want to see somebody have that gimmick. Now that I think about it, that's really funny. Is like a trolling gimmick where maybe you don't do 15 minutes, 10 minutes, but every match is a draw, and then you see them in the standings, and it's like 0-12.
That's actually funny. Where do you rank that person? You can't.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do with them? Brett Murphy for $5. Love the AEW title tournament eliminator bracket. Uncle Tony is struck again, Issa.
Uncle Tony.
And the draw could have his manager could be a sister and they could kiss because a tie is like kissing your sister. Not that I'm advocating for that. I'm just, if we're going to really go overboard with this draw thing.
No, that's enough.
We move on to Super Ranas.
Yo!
The Lucha Brothers. And this is what was referenced from that super chat from earlier. And this definitely stood out. So usually in wrestling, particularly in WWE, when there's a mask or there's something that's clearly obvious that's going on, the commentators have to play dumb. Who's behind that mask?
No.
And this is clearly FTR. And CM Punk just like, no, that's clearly FTR. He's calling it out commentary. I thought it was so funny.
I know, me too. And the other commentators at first were not going with it. At one point, they were like, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. And it really made them look bad, too, because then Tony Schiavone's like, oh, CM Punk is the Tony Romo of our business. He was able to see that coming. And it's like everybody was able to see that coming.
Like, bro.
So this was great. This is, again, more of why I love CM Punk on commentary is him not being like a dummy. And so this was a very good match, but the finish came where Dax Harwood used the AAA title to hit Rey Fenix. They then hit the Brainbuster, and FTR are your new AAA champions. Now, the crowd was completely stunned because I think they thought the AEW World Championships were on the line. So when this finish happened, the crowd, and also because it was, probably pro Rey Fenix and Zia Mero, Pentagon, there was probably a pro crowd for the Lucha Brothers. But they were absolutely stunned when this happened because I think they thought it was an AEW World Title match, but this is a AAA World Championship match, and FTR are your new AAA World Champions. What do you think about this, Issa?
Yeah, so obviously we all knew it was FTR as soon as they came out, which kind of like I was fine with that because I do want to see FTR against the Lucha Bros. I think they're going to have a epic feud. But I was hoping that we were going to get introduced to someone, or maybe somebody from AAA will get a chance to come over here and wrestle, and like the whole mystique around this match is like, who is, Andrade going to bring? Is it going to be Ric Flair and Charlotte? Like, you don't know. You didn't know who it was going to be. So it was FTR, and I was like slightly disappointed. The little frog hop that they did when they got into the ring, I fought for that. Underrated. Yeah, the match was a lot of fun. I do think people were confused about what title was on the line because it was like a big shock. I love seeing them trying to take off from the arena after they won it. And it was very confusing. And this was with commentary where they were talking about like, yeah, in Mexico, if you try to remove the mask, you get automatically disqualified. And then they were like, no, but this is AEW rules. They kind of like went back and forth a little bit, and it made you confused, like, okay, what rules are we using? And I feel like maybe that's why people assume it was the AEW tag titles as well. But yeah, overall it's fun. I'm excited for the feud itself. I think they're going to have an epic feud together.
That's a good point, Issa, because that was a very important detail of this match in that it was AEW rules, so you could pull off the mask because they did pull off their masks. So for the second half of this match, it's FTR. But they did get confused and tripped up. And at one point, I think they even said this is AAA rules, which that would mean it would have been a disqualification. So they had to walk that back. So that was very confusing. Yes.
I was like, commentary kind of like confused the situation that they didn't. They didn't need to bring it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nightmare Need, friend of the show, for $2. Have to give you guys your roses. Appreciate that. I have enough roses on my shirt, but I'll take another one.
Thank you. I love your shirt, by the way. I complimented you off the air, but I will do it on the air as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is where so after this, because later on the show this happened, but I'll just say it now, we get a backstage segment with MJF, who is paying off Andrade, and MJF is such a smart heel because he's doing all these microaggressions where he's dipping into Spanish and saying, thanks, amigo, and really kind of talking to him some kind of way. And he carried this on during his promo to this very pro-Latino crowd. And I think that really helped his heat. And so he was very good on this segment.
And JF is great. He is great. Sometimes I can't believe how young he is.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta in about 15 seconds. Jon Moxley wins and walks off.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, what else are you going to do about it? I'm telling you, he's going to turn heel, and it's happening. I mean, we've been teasing it for a while, but I can see more shades of heel Mox, and I cannot wait to see him. Because if this is like him going at 50%, because he can't really like do or say certain things, he's gonna be cheered though. He's not gonna get booed. I don't know. Depends on how they do the turn. I don't see Mox getting booed.
Yeah, I think he's going to be even better as a heel because he's kind of in a holding pattern right now. There are more prioritized baby faces. You've got CM Punk, you've got Bryan Danielson, Hangman Adam Page, and so he seems to be in kind of a middle ground, even the inner circle. And so when he turns heel, though, he's going to really stand out, and I think he's going to do great work as a heel because he kind of carries himself like a heel anyway. Just that curmudgeon, even when he's going through the crowd, he doesn't want people touching him. And I think when he becomes a heel, it's going to be next level.
Yeah, 1000%. I just want the turn to be something significant, something that kind of like hurts. You know what I mean? I wanted to get people emotionally invested so that you can really get behind him as a heel and not. But it's just Mox is just a cool guy, and that's why I'm like, I don't know that he can get booed just because he has that I don't give a F attitude, and I root for that personally.
Yeah, and I see the heel turn coming against Bryan Danielson if that match happens at Full Gear and he loses. I think he snaps.
Yes.
We had a backstage brawl pretty quickly with Shida and Serena Deeb.
The highlight of this brawl was CM Punk on commentary saying, "What a head of hair on Serena Deeb." Wow! I was like, yes, that's what I meant. I'm like, I don't think everybody's gonna get that joke, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't even think of the connection between CM Punk and Serena Deeb until he said that, and I was like, that's right.
Yep.
Society.
Yep. Oh my God. I was like, did he just say that?
Yeah.
Again, CM Punk on commentary magic. I can see why they're using him. If you're not wrestling tonight, you're getting on commentary. Or Tony Khan wants to get his money worth. Either or is working.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But get CM Punk on commentary if you don't have a match for him, because I thought he was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of very good, we get the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, the Super Click, versus the Dark Order. So this is John Silver, this is Alex Reynolds, and Evil Uno. This match, I mean, this might have been the peak of the show. I think this is where the show peaked in terms of just how hot it was. They do all kinds of stuff, kind of mixed in some comedy. And at one point, Evil Uno gets a hold of Nick Jackson's sock. And the biggest pop of the night comes where Evil Uno uses Mr. Sacco on Nick Jackson. People going nuts, chanting Sacco. This is a lot of fun. We also get the Super Click spot, which is, Adam Cole having the Boston Crab in and the Young Bucks going to kiss him, but they get flipped over the top. And in comes John Silver and Alex Reynolds to kiss Adam Cole. These people are going crazy for it, and Adam Cole's facials was just amazing.
The face that he made was hilarious. Yes.
Just amazing. So this is a great match. A lot of spots here. The finish basically comes with a lot of finishers for the Super Click, and they win the match. But what did you think about this, Issa?
This was so much freaking fun. First of all, the internet works fast. Did you see that Mr. Soko is all elite graphics going through the timeline?
Oh, that's great.
I was like, it was like within a minute. I'm like, you guys work way too fast. I love seeing Evil Uno wrestle. And I love seeing the Dark Order feels revitalized, and I feel it's because Adam Page is back, and I love how they distantly are still keeping that storyline going because they wrestle completely different tonight now that they're reunited and we're back together and we're not fighting anymore. You felt a different energy from them. That spot, the Super Click spot, Adam Cole's face was like everything. They had the crowd in the palm of their hands here. Of course, all of the finishers from the Super Click. The Super Click is not going to lose a match anytime soon. Not with Adam Cole there. So it was still fun. And that's the thing. Sometimes it can be predictable, but it doesn't make it not enjoyable.
Yeah. And after the match, we get Jumpin' Jack Perry comes in with a steel chair and does a number on the elite. So that was good to get to see. And we did also get a shield bomb spot. I believe it was countered though, but they did attempt it again. So
They did.
Playing with them right there.
Oh, man.
We get into this next segment, which I want to get your opinion. So this is Cody Rhodes. It's backstage, kind of a cinematic segment. He's met with the Nightmare Factory, which kind of looking at him for being Hollywood, showing up late to practice. Red Velvet calls him an arrogant piece of shit and slaps him in the face. He's doing drills, and Arn Anderson is telling him to stay focused, don't get distracted. One member of the Nightmare Factory is coming after him after another, and Cody's just kind of countering them, and Lee Johnson's coming for him, and he's doing an arm drag. He gets slapped by Kylan King. At one point, Cody goes, "What's the point of this? I'm not learning shit." And Arn Anderson then shows him a picture of Dusty Rhodes and Arn Anderson, saying how much Dusty Rhodes wanted to do right by his children, I believe. And so he's just trying to get Cody Rhodes ready for Malachi Black. I absolutely thought this was amazing. What did you think, Issa?
Me too. Cody Rhodes' attitude throughout the whole thing, and like the way that everybody acted against him. I just want to know where we're going in this story. I mean, I'm more invested than I was in the beginning, right? When you did the whole Cody's going to retire, he took off the boot, and Malachi Black kicked his ass. Like, okay, that was great. This I'm more interested in, because I'm wondering, is Cody Rhodes just going to snap out of all of them? Is he going to because he did say on some interviews that he's never turning heel in AEW. So you start listening to the interviews, but then you start seeing this, and it just makes you wonder, where are we going with this? Is he going to join the dark side with Malachi Black? I don't know, but I'm invested. As far as the backstage segment goes, it was excellent. I think that a lot of people are feeling a certain way about Cody, and they're playing off the talks of the internet in regards to Cody making everything about himself. He's kind of Hollywood. I love the fact that they're using that in that backstage segment.
Me too. And I think the long play here, this is a long-term storyline for Cody to face Malachi Black and win. And I know, I don't like the idea of him losing anytime soon, but if he does lose, I like the fact that there is a story behind it to where this kind of makes Malachi Black come off as a bigger star, that Cody needs to completely reinvent himself in order to have a chance of beating Malachi Black. He's got the whole Nightmare Factory training with him in terms of trying to build him into somebody who could beat Malachi Black. And if they do that and tell that story before he beats Malachi Black, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, I don't either. I'm still waiting for Arn Anderson to chase him out of the school with a gun.
Right on cue. I am there for 199. We need more armed Anderson segments. Yes.
Yeah,
that would have been a funny thing, because he's giving him all this tips, and if he just pulled out a gun and shot it in the air, practice is over.
You're not focused, man.
I love Arn Anderson.
And then everybody just stops. You got that awkward moment where everybody's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, okay, Arn, not that much motivation, my guy.
I get it though, because I obviously don't want them to overdo the whole Glock thing, but it was just so fun and unexpected that I'm like, you gotta use it again. Just pop it one more time,
Yeah, I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
We get MJF coming out, calling out Darby Allin. So if you remember,
what a troll.
A bunch of masked men. We cannot confirm that it was Pinnacle, but a bunch of masked men attacked Darby Allin. So MJF is playing dumb as if he didn't know who did it, and he's saying, "Where's Darby Allin?" This promo was really being drowned out by Tony Schiavone, who was just incensed and talking over this promo on commentary about how much he hates MJF. MJF demands that Wardlow brings out a ref. The ref begins to count out Darby Allin. That brings out Sting. And Wardlow gets shoved into Sting by MJF, and MJF runs off. So they continue to build this tension between him and Wardlow. It's been now like a year of.
I know.
So this is good long-term storytelling between MJF and Wardlow. But MJF runs off. I thought this was great heel work by MJF.
Yeah, it was great heel work. He did a good job working the crowd. He did a great job, because I wasn't even expecting him to be on. So it was a very nice surprise segment, because it wasn't advertised. Obviously, the match was never advertised. That was the whole point of the segment. Sting coming out and, to defend Darby, still cool. You get a pop, you get the snow. Cool stuff. I am never going to complain to see MJF on television, whether it's just to cut a promo. So it's awesome that they found the time in there to add him.
This is very good. A very good way of promoting this storyline, too, with Darby Allin off TV and MJF goading him like that and bringing out Sting. Get a Sting appearance, which is always fun for a live crowd.
Exactly.
We get a backstage brawl between Britt Baker and Anna Jay, because Britt Baker is calling Anna Jay a loser. The Dark Order lost to the Elite Baby. We know that Britt Baker is a real-life girlfriend of Adam Cole, and they just start brawling with each other, really throwing some stiff shots, I thought. It was like they were really punching each other in the face.
Britt Baker was ready to throw hands as soon as she got punched, and I popped for that. I was like, she didn't even do the she just like started throwing hands, and I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. We gotta build something for Britt Baker. There's nothing. So I mean, would it make sense for it to be Anna Jay? I don't know, because I seen her kind of like have wins and losses. But at this point, you don't have a program for your world champion. Make something up, and this is exactly a good way to go about it.
Yeah, and we did see in that leaked Full Gear card that it was Britt Baker versus question mark, and this could be the question mark, Anna Jay.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Oh boy, so we get into this next match. Penelope Ford versus Kiera Hogan. By the way, you can see an interview I did with Kiera Hogan about 6 months ago. She's great, and both these women could work. They're both talented wrestlers. Let me just start with that. This might have been the worst match in the history of Dynamite. I don't know what happened. There was a lot of okay, it started with there was a leapfrog spot that Penelope Ford just didn't go under. She just kind of stopped, and from then on, I just felt like they were on two completely different pages. Crowd kind of dead for this match, trying to get the people picked up, but this just wasn't good. It was just they were on two different pages, and sometimes you have nights like this. Penelope Ford wins. Ruby Soho comes out after to set that up based on what happened last night at Rampage, but not very pretty, Penelope Ford and Kiera Hogan.
Yeah, it wasn't. There wasn't chemistry there. I don't know. Something, like you said, they were going in like driving in the opposite side of the road or something. CM Punk made a comment on commentary. He asked, "Oh, Kiera Hogan, I wonder if there's any relation." I'll leave it at that. I thought that was
Paul Hogan, or
yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Not the best match. I think both of these women are talented, and we've seen them go. So they were just having an off night, and I'll leave it at that. I thought Ruby Soho coming out was great to get revenge on what we saw last night. So Ruby Soho doesn't look like someone who would just stay backstage and not try to get, her moment back. So we'll see what happens. I didn't like this. I felt bad. The crowd was dead for it.
Yes,
dead silence. Dead silence.
Too. I feel like they picked this to be the popcorn spot, unfortunately, but
yeah, but I do think that doesn't help the match or the chemistry, because if they don't feel like they have the crowd going, then it can kind of mess with your psyche when you're in the ring, you know?
Yeah, I can start panicking a little bit or whatnot.
Right.
But not their best work. There will be better days ahead. Marie Johnson for $5. Mac's turn is coming when he kills Orange Cassidy. OC gave Mox. Okay, OC gave Mox a look for destroying his boy. Yes, that was something that was not lost on me, because Orange Cassidy gave this look right after that 15-second win by Jon Moxley. Like, okay, I see you. And it does set up for Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley to meet in the second round of that Eliminator tournament, which is what I think is going to happen.
You don't think that Powerhouse beats?
Not in AEW, I'll tell you that. Maybe if this is NXT or not in AEW. Orange Cassidy's winning that. They might as well just give him a bye. But who knows? Maybe they'll have Orange Cassidy lose.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Hojo
doggy.
$5. Alfred, who's the best promo from your Green Bay Packers? Any Arn types? The best promo on the Packers might be Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers cuts a pretty good promo. I will say, Devontae Adams had some great quotes recently where he said he hates everybody who he plays against. So Devontae Adams is a great promo too. Love the Green Bay Packers. Packers over the Bills in the Super Bowl. I've been saying it all summer, and it looks like I might be right, and I'm just going to keep saying it. Packers 42, Buffalo Bills 17 in your Super Bowl. I'm spoiling it for you. I just spoiled the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Packers over Bills. So we go into, this is a Miro promo that we heard about earlier tonight. This was incredible.
So good.
This was a backstage promo. It's Miro basically doing a confession to God, where he is confused at why God has forsaken him. He has a body of granite and a neck full of sand, which is a story they tell that his neck is his weakness. He says, "Why have you forsaken your champion? I want to be God's favorite champion, so I see her once again." So we get the tease for Lana again. I thought this was a phenomenal backstage promo and a great use of Miro after they kind of put him to the back burner after being the best champion they had, I thought.
Yeah, I've been saying, where's Miro since he lost the TNT title? He doesn't seem like the guy that would just sit there and take it and not do anything about it. The promo was great. It was short, but it was very, very, very effective, and it just makes you wonder what is he gonna do to make it up to God?
Yeah. This is great. This is right in his wheelhouse for his character. This is like they still using the God's favorite champion thing, but now we have to deal with him when he's not God's favorite champion. So this is just wonderful storytelling with Miro. I just loved it.
He's so good. He's been so good. I think that I didn't like him on the beginning when he first went to AEW. That best man gimmick was not it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he became the TNT, I was one of the people that didn't want him to lose the belt to Sammy Guevara. I know I'm one of the few, but I wanted him to keep staying champion. So I really want them to get into something compelling with him going forward.
I still don't think he should have lost that title to Sammy Guevara. I don't think Sammy needs it. I think Sammy's a big star, and I think Miro
He's
was great
so
with that
over.
title.
He is so over. So, but I get it. I feel like it was time, and Sammy's been here a long time. I get it, but I just didn't think that it was the right choice.
Yeah. I just associate Miro more with that TNT title than Sammy. It was this white title, and it was basically tied to his gimmick of God's favorite champion. So, hopefully he gets back sometime soon. Or, they don't like doing quick title changes, but I hope he does get it back and we get another run. Either that or the world title. Who knows?
That's a long line for that world title, and it's very exciting. Long. It's exciting, but it's like weird, right? Because like what you said, AEW tends to have long title reigns, so it just really makes you wonder because there's so many people that could be contenders to all of these titles right now, and it's just like, well, if you're gonna hold the belt for 200 days, what are you going to do in the meantime with this big group of people that could be your champs right now?
Yeah. So we get Bryan Danielson versus Bobby Fish. This is your main event. The best thing about this match to me was a commentary for CM Punk. I thought he did a very good job bringing up the fact that both these guys wrestled last night. So after you wrestle, you're high as a kite. Your mind is racing. So whoever is more focused is going to be the person who is more in charge. So I just love that angle of this match. CM Punk was really good throughout this match as well. And this is more wrestling for the sake of wrestling. A lot of holds. Good professional technical wrestling, and Bryan Danielson won this match.
Of course he did. Daniel Bryan is never going to lose. But he didn't. It was a fun match. I did enjoy a lot of what CM Punk added to commentary. He was like making some comments that you don't think about, especially what you just pointed out. I love that he pointed out that, both of these guys wrestled last night because you really don't think about that. I guess after the pandemic we forgot what it's like for them to wrestle back to back to back, especially in AEW because they used to be a once a week kind of thing. It was fun. I love seeing Bryan Danielson come out. It feels like, again, Illuminati confirms he's revitalized. He looks younger. He looks in the best shape of his career. He just wrestled Suzuki in what looked like a brutal match. So for him to just come back out there tonight and do it again, props to him. He just looks incredible. He's probably up there in my top 3 favorite people in AEW right now.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, and he definitely deserves to be up there. I thought Daniel Bryan has been great. This match was good. Nothing wrong with it, but just another match with Bryan Danielson with no build that's focused more on the wrestling, but there's nothing wrong with this match. I will say this. So this is your show. That was your AEW Dynamite show. They did reveal the brackets after this. But this went head-to-head with some stiff competition. We get a full slate of college football games where Alabama's playing. They're a big draw. They played Mississippi State. We got a lot of ranked teams playing. We got Oklahoma playing. So full slate of college football and the NLCS, which is a great game between the Dodgers and the Braves that is still tied, I believe. Yes, still tied 2-2 at the top of the ninth. And this has been a very incredible game. So these are two big teams that are big draws. Here's a question I have for you, Issa. What does a bigger number? AEW Dynamite tonight or AEW Rampage last night?
Whoa. I'm going to say Rampage.
I could see a Universal Rampage outdraws AEW. This is a Saturday night show. So a lot of people, we got somebody who commented, Nightmare Knee is a big fan of AEW and WWE and watches a lot. And even Nightmare Knee didn't know that it was on tonight. So I remember they did like 450,000 for one of those shows. Although given it was a pandemic era, they do very low numbers on Saturdays up against, this is why Tony Khan moved his pay-per-views off of Saturdays, because he doesn't want to go head to head with college football. And it's I expect a very ugly number for this show.
Yeah, me too. And I told you when we were off the air, the energy and the fun, the show was fun, but it wasn't. I'm not going to say throwaway. We forgot to talk about the Hangman Page promo.
That's right, we did. We skipped right over.
That was the best part of the show. How did we skip through that? I was about to say, if somebody told me what did I miss, the one thing that I would say, if you need to watch one thing, it would be the Hangman Page promo. And I just realized we never even talked about it. Come on, Alfred.
I'm saving the best for last. That's why. I'm saving the best for last. Hangman Adam Page this is something that Jungle Boy can learn from. This was one of the best It's funny. We saw one of the worst and best babyface promos on the same show, and Hangman Adam Page, he just brings everybody through his journey. He tells a story that they've been telling with him, that he lost his confidence, that he really didn't know if he could be a world champion. He talked about teaming with Kenny Omega and defending the AEW World Tag Team titles every chance he could. He said he gained his confidence after people started chanting cowboy shit, which people obviously started chanting that. And he says that he's now going to head into that Full Gear pay-per-view against Kenny Omega, become a world champion. It was, in terms of the content, like simple, what you would say as a babyface, but delivery and how he told his story and how he connected it to his character and his feud. And this was an excellent promo, and this is the guy. Like, his time is now. We are now at the time where it's either he wins this or he goes way back, or there's no coming back from this. He has to win this match against Kenny Omega.
He has to. And I was like, so I started watching AEW, and I was watching it on and off. But then when I got really into it, I remember somebody on Twitter, I wish I could give him credit, made a whole thread about the Hangman Page storyline. And I was never a fan of his. And then I started reading this thread, and I'm like, they went back from like before AEW days. And I'm like, the story that they're telling with this guy, and he's just so likable when he talks and the way he delivers his promo, he has to win. Like, and the pop when he wins, can you imagine it already?
Yes.
This promo was perfection. I sent out a tweet where I was like, if you want to teach someone how to be a babyface, you need to put this promo on one of the, you need to watch this. You know, if you're teaching a class about it. It was so great. And I popped when he said, I finally believe in myself, because that's always been the whole story, that everybody believes in him but him. So I cannot wait to see him win. I thought he did such an excellent job. And that's the one thing that I will say about tonight. I thought the show was fun, but it wasn't anything that I would say was must-watch television, except for that promo. I thought that promo was great, and I would encourage people to watch it.
Yes, please, because I'm going to go back and watch it as well. And it was just a really good promo. That's definitely something you should go back and take time out of your day to watch, because this really does feel like a legitimate world title feud and a babyface chasing this title. And it's a long-term chase, to where he had that match with the Dark Order against the Elite, where it was all that pageantry. The Elite had that great entrance with Space Jam, and Hangman had that superstar entrance, and then they fell short of it. And so now he's picking up the pieces and vying for that title again. And this is a great story to be told, to make a babyface world champion.
I'm glad that we're sticking with it and they're telling the story, because I remember a lot of people thought that after they lost that match, that was it for Hangman Page. I didn't like seeing him and Omega had the match, but they wrestled before. So, okay, I get it. But I'm glad that we're kind of saving it and understanding that you've been telling the story since AEW was established. You have to finish it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is your AEW Dynamite. We saw some good wrestling on the show. I thought it was a fun show. The viewership might be a little ugly because of Saturday. They're going to be back on Saturday next week. But where can the people find you in between then, Isa?
At NYC Demon Diva on Twitter with a 1, and you can find me on YouTube, NYC Demon Diva. I do pre-shows for every show, and I do reactions as well.
Yes, Fast Nationals are out on Forbes right now. Go read those. At This Is Nasty for Alfred Konuwa. I will have the final numbers on Monday for AEW versus SmackDown, and we will be back on Tuesday covering NXT 2.0 and the GOAT, Tony D'Angelo. Good night, Tony D'Angelo. Good night, AEW, and good night, Wrestling Inc.
Bye.